Hello grade 10 students. Welcome to another virtual class. I am Miss Madhu Badge. We are studying chapter 9, some applications of trigonometry. This is the fourth part of the same chapter where we are learning how to find heights and distances using trigonometric ratios. So far we have solved 9 questions of this exercise. So let's continue from the 10th question. Two poles of equal heights are standing opposite each other on either side of the road, which is 80 meters wide. Let's represent this in terms of a figure. Let's draw a horizontal line that represents ground. Draw two lines that are of equal length perpendicular to the ground. These lines represent the two poles. These two poles are standing opposite each other on either side of the road. So this is the width of the road, which is given as 80 meters. From a point between them on the road, the angles of elevation of the top of the poles are 60 degrees and 30 degrees respectively. So let's consider this point somewhere over here. So if we observe the top of these poles from this point, then the angle of elevations are 60 degrees and 30 degrees with respect to ground. This means that we have to join this point to the top of these poles. Compare the two angles and see. This angle appears to be smaller, so this has to be marked as 30 degrees and this will be marked as 60 degrees. Label this figure to get triangle ABC and triangle AED, which are right angled triangles. The question is to find the height of the poles and the distance of the point from the poles. The height of the poles is CB, DE. We have to also find the distance of point A from the pole, so we have to find AB and we have to find AD. Let's start by considering triangle ABC. In triangle ABC, we have to find BC and we have to find BA. So let's form ratio with these two sides. So BC upon AB is opposite upon adjacent with respect to 60 degree angle, which is tan 60 degrees. So tan 60 degrees is equal to CB upon AB. Tan 60 degrees is √3. Let's represent the height of the poles with H. And let's take AB as X, then AD will be 80 minus X. So substituting all of this in this equation, we get √3 equal to H upon X. So H will be equal to √3 times X. Let's mark this result as 1. Now we will consider the second triangle ADE. Since we have to find ED and AD, we are going to form a ratio using these sides. So ED is opposite to 30 and AD is adjacent to 30. So opposite upon adjacent will be tan of 30. So from triangle ADE, we can write tan 30 degrees is equal to DE upon AD. Tan 30 degrees is 1 upon √3. DE is represented by H and AD is 80 minus X because we have taken AB as X. Now we can use the result that we had obtained earlier, h is equal to root 3x, and substitute over here in place of h. So we get 1 upon root 3 equal to root 3 x divided by 80 minus x. Cross multiply. So we get 80 minus x equal to 3 times x, because root 3 into root 3 will be 3. Carry x to the right side. So we get 80 equal to 4 times x, or 80 upon 4 is equal to x. This implies x is equal to 20 meters. So AB is 20 meters and AD is 80 minus x, which is 60 meters. Now we can find h using the first result, that is h is equal to root 3x, and that is equal to 20 times root 3 meters. So height of the pole is 20 root 3 meters. Question number 11. A TV tower stands vertically on a bank of a canal. So in the figure, AB represents a TV tower from a point on the other bank directly opposite the tower. The angle of elevation of the top of the tower is 60 degrees. So this point is point C in the figure, which is on the other bank of the canal. This means that in the figure, CB represents the width of the canal. From this point, if the observer looks at the top of the TV tower, the angle of elevation with the ground is 60 degrees. From another point 20 meters away from this point, on the line joining this point to the foot of the tower. So this point is D in the figure, which is 20 meters away from point C and is along the line joining the foot of the tower. The foot of the tower is B. The angle of elevation of the top of the tower is 30 degrees. So from this point D, if an observer looks at the top of the tower, then the line of sight makes an angle of 30 degrees with the ground. The question is to find the height of the tower and the width of the canal. So we have to find AB and CB. Let's denote the height of the tower with some variables, say h. And let CB in the figure be equal to x. Since the tower stands vertically on the ground, it makes a 90-degree angle with the ground. So we have two right triangles, triangle ACB and triangle ADB. Using these two triangles, we will find out the unknown sides. The known side is part of the adjacent side. So we will proceed in the same manner, forming ratios of sides that are unknown and that are known. So in triangle ACB, AB is opposite to 60 degrees and CB is adjacent to 60 degrees. So we can form this ratio h upon x, which is tan of 60-degree angle. So in triangle ACB, tan 60 degrees will be equal to AB upon CB. Tan 60 degree is root 3. AB is h and CB is x. So on cross multiplying, we get h equal to root 3 times x. Let's mark this result as 1. Now we will consider the other right triangle, which is triangle ADB. Students, please be careful while picking the triangles. I have seen some students in the exam selecting triangle ADB C. This is not a right angle triangle. We have to choose only right triangle. So here ADB is a right triangle. In this triangle, AB is opposite to 30-degree angle and DB is adjacent to 30-degree angle. So the ratio of opposite to adjacent will give us tan of 30-degree angle. So we can write tan 30 degrees is equal to AB upon DB. Substituting value of tan 30, we get 1 upon root 3 equal to H upon DB in the figure is DC plus CB, and DC is 20 meters and CB is X. So here in place of DB we will substitute 20 plus X. Now we are going to substitute H from the result that we have obtained in the previous triangle, H as root 3x. So we get 1 upon root 3 equal to root 3x divided by 20 plus x. Now we cross multiply, so we get 20 plus x equal to 3 times x. Carry this x to the right hand side. We get 20 equal to 2x, or x equal to 10 meters. So x is representing the width of the canal, which is 10 meters. And now we can find out the height of the tower, which is root 3 times x. That will be 10 times root 3 meters. Question number 12. From the top of a 7-meter high building, the angle of elevation of the top of a cable tower is 60 degrees and the angle of depression of its foot is 45 degrees. Determine the height of the tower. Let's represent the ground using a horizontal line. We have a 7-meter high building. So let's say this line represents a 7-meter high building. From the top of a 7-meter high building, that means the observer is standing at the top of this building, the angle of elevation of the top of the cable tower is 60 degrees. This means that the height of the cable tower will be more than the height of the building. So let's say this is the cable tower. How did we know that the height of the cable tower is more than the height of the building? From the question, an observer is at the top of 7-meter building and looks at the top of the cable tower, making an angle of elevation. To make an angle of elevation, a person has to raise his head above the horizontal level of the eye. This means that the observer on top of the building is looking at a taller object, and therefore cable tower is taller. So this is the horizontal level of the eye, and the person is looking at the top of the tower. So this line will be the line of sight, making an angle of 60 degrees with the horizontal. And it is also given that the angle of depression of its foot is 45 degrees. That means from the same point on the top of the building, the observer is looking at the foot of the tower to make an angle of depression. Recall that an angle of depression is made when an observer lowers his head to look at the object or point of view. So let's join the observer with the foot of the tower. So now this is the line of sight, which makes an angle of 45 with the horizontal level of the eye. Now we have represented the situation given in the question in the form of a figure. Let's label this figure. In the question, we have to find the height of the tower. The height of the tower in the figure is given by dB. So we have to find dB. Since the building and the tower are standing vertically on the ground, they make a 90-degree angle with the horizontal. This implies that EA is parallel to CB because they are perpendiculars to the same line. Also, EC is parallel to the ground, as EC is the horizontal level of the eye. This means that this quadrilateral EABC is a rectangle. Therefore, the opposite sides are going to be equal. So this implies AE is equal to BC, which is equal to 7 meters. Also, angle ECB will be 90 degrees as ABCE is a rectangle. This implies that EC is perpendicular to DB. So we get two right triangles, triangle DEC and triangle ECB. Using these two triangles, we will find the height of the tower. The height of the cable tower is DB, which is DC plus CB. So using triangle DEC, we will find DC. Then using triangle EBC, we will find CB. And then we will add DC and CB to get DB. Notice that EC is a common side to these two triangles. So EC must be used in forming the ratio. Also, DC and CB are unknown, so these two also will be used in forming the ratios. So let's start by considering triangle AEB. In triangle AEB, BC is opposite to 45 and EC is adjacent. So opposite upon adjacent will be tan of 45. So we get tan 45 degrees equal to BC upon EC. Tan 45 is 1. So on cross multiplying, we get BC equal to EC. But we know that BC is equal to 7 meters. So this implies that EC will be 7 meters. Now let's consider the other triangle, that is in triangle DEC. DC is the opposite side to 60 degrees and EC is the adjacent side. So the ratio DC upon EC will be tan of 60 degrees. Now substituting tan 60 as root 3 and EC as 7 meters, we get DC equal to 7 times root 3. So the height of the tower DB is equal to DC plus BC. DC is 7 root 3 and BC is 7. Taking common, we get 7 times root 3 plus 1 meters as the height of the cable tower. With this, we come to the end of today's video lesson. Your assignment is to solve these two questions, which are example questions taken from the NCERT textbook. See you in the next class. Until then, goodbye.